Former homeless people of Reddit, what unwritten rules/codes are there, if any, towards other homeless people that most people may not know about? Serious. I was homeless for about 4 months in Las Vegas. Rules I learned in the area: I'm a girl BTW. Don't walk around without some sort of knife, because drunk stupid people like to pick on homeless people. Search each machine you can for loose change and vouchers. Also, if you spend $1 at the penny slots and need a drink, you can get free ones on Fremont Street, which is also a great source of free entertainment when you're bored. If you find a friend, make sure one watches while one sleeps. Make use of shelter money. In Vegas, there is a social service run by a church outfit that provides you with housing vouchers. If you are one of the first 10 people in line in the morning, you can find a friend, double up on the vouchers in some places, and get a weekly rental for an entire month. This is awesome during the summer, when it's 120 degrees outside, and you need a shower. This is also cool if you find a job with a telemarketing company or something that requires you to shower daily. If you get involved in drugs or have a gambling problem and you're already homeless, you're pretty much destined to remain homeless in Vegas. If you have food stamps, share. I once had a homeless man buy me a sandwich, and it was the most humbling experience in my entire life. That's about all I got. It's pretty gnarly out there, and I'm definitely glad I'm no longer homeless. I give back what I can these days, and am pursuing a career in social services, so that I can continue to help others. My dad told me about the time he had to live homeless for a week for a class he was working toward being a Catholic deacon. He has lots of stories from it, but the one that stuck with me was his first night of being homeless. He woke up covered in layers cardboard, with a rock on top to hold it in place. The other homeless took care of him his first night on the streets. If you're trying to run away from good parents and are underage, we will make sure the police find you. Kid was 15, and after talking with his friends, we heard no reason for him to be running away. Teenage angst made sure the police took him home and left my cell phone number in case he ran away again. Just because I was homeless, that didn't mean I didn't work 2 jobs. Would work about 56 hours a week at a gas station between 2 stores, and then did the usual selling papers on the streets in the morning. Save every penny. Buy a tent. Put your tent next to a river. Go to the library every single day. Spend as much time as you can applying for jobs. Take the first job you can get. Keep bathing in the river and working until winter. Do not spend a dime on booze. Once winter comes, get an apartment and keep working. Apply to your local technical college and get a job in it. Stop being homeless. Worked for me. Be wary of items given to you by other people. My cousin counseled homeless youth for a few years, and one of his favorites got sent to jail for accepting a gift of a cell phone. The phone ended up being stolen out of the owner's car and had GPS attached to it. The police found him with the phone and arrested him on the spot. My cousin was called in as a character witness to testify on his behalf. Not sure what happened after that though. Respect your elders, Aka. Don't fuck with the old timers. I lived on the streets in Seattle in 2000 and lived in shelters and transitional houses for many years after that. I was 15 at the time, and there is a pretty big homeless population here. We had some weird rules. I mostly lived on Broadway, and each homeless group really had their own rules. There were also the RV rats, who lived up by the university. They had a whole political system. People were at the top, and people were at the bottom. You could also get kicked off the RV, and most those kids would end up on Broadway. Almost everyone on Broadway was a junkie, or gay. And there were the downtown kids, mostly young foster runaways, or kids with mental issues. Lots of juggalos down there. So, I guess we were sort of the crazy group. The big one I remember is that you always take off your shoes when you sleep. And if you sleep outside, sleep on top of your bag and tuck your shoes under it. Sometimes my bag was way too packed to pull that off comfortably, but people would take your shoes just to fuck with you. They would call the annoying or new kids oogles, but they wouldn't ever kick someone out of the neighborhood like RV rats. Just too much heroin going around really to have that type of control. Probably the most offensive thing you can do is finding out where someone who's homeless lives. If you follow them, they will stop and talk to you, and if you just enter a squat uninvited, Well, it's really dangerous. It was respectful to pretend like you didn't care where your friends went at night. At any point you can get uninvited too, and you'll just be locked out that night. They do not give a shit about where you are staying. This isn't a pity party. Broadway is pretty small too, just about 7 blocks long. So people would panhandle right next to you all the time. If they weren't at least 2 shops away, they were probably doing it to piss you off. Or it's just their normal spot. Like I always camped out in front of this Mexican place because they had awesome leftovers. But it was absolutely uncool to sit or lie down around other homeless kids or stand on the side of the sidewalk that the stores are on. It's illegal on Broadway, and doing that just attracts the cops. I remember asking other homeless kids to stand all the time just because I was sick of getting picked up by the cops. Lots of theft too, no real idea of a moral code at all there. Although, people would share their drugs with you all the time. That way they had someone to bug about sharing back when they didn't have any cash. Later on I lived at Tent City and still got stuff stolen from me quite often, even though they have a decent community too. I never had a problem with food, like someone else said. Anyways. 1. Find a group of people you can trust, not easy to do, and stick with them. 2. Don't be the guy with the sign asking for money. Edit. If you must ask for money, state the reason why, and if someone says instead of giving you the money I'll just pay for it myself, and give it to you, don't turn that down. Fucking ever. 3. People think all homeless people are on drugs because that's the stereotype they are presented with. Do your best to not blend in with those people. You will be amazed at what people are willing to do if you're making an honest attempt at getting on your feet and you do your best to present yourself that way. 4. Don't do anything stupid to get money, sex, crime. You will regret it for 1. Also, don't be a fucking rat. That shit will get you killed. Remember, a lot of the people in your world are off the grid. 5. If you are getting nowhere in the city you are in, get out of there. There is always someone headed your way. 6. Never ever turn down a chance to do some work. Never. That may be an opportunity to get you started again. 7. Even if you're not religious, if a religious family offered you a place to stay, sometimes if you go to church with us but not always, don't turn it down. 7. 1. Don't do anything to them such as steal or rob them. That's how reputation gets started. I'm sure that's not what you were asking, but it's been over 20 years since I got back on my feet and those other things that have stuck with me. Source: homeless for 2 years. I'm homeless in the Houston area. I live at a transitional work facility. It's okay. I'm going to college and working here to cover my rent. I work full time for the guy who runs the ministry to cover my rent, and he lets me use a car to get back and forth from school because I knew him 4 years beforehand. It could be a lot worse for me, but also I really want to get out of here. It's full of people on parole and almost everyone has been to prison for at least 10 years here. Some guys are nice, others pretend to be nice, and some are ruthless methodicas. I really want a real job, but since it's hard to get a living wage job W/0 experience, I'm getting a degree first. I'll have my associates after this semester. The worst part about being homeless is the loneliness. I meet people at college, but being broke keeps me at arm's length. It really sucks when I meet a girl I like, but I can't do shit because all my money and time goes into what I need to do, not what I want. Everyone said turning 21 would be awesome. It's not what I expected. I've been technically homeless about 3 times before the age of 15, but you would not be able to tell just by looking at me or conversing briefly. Average looking white, 20 years male college student. Without explaining a ton of other stuff, and including many sad stories, I'll get to the meat of the question. For my family, I remembered that we would go to the library every day for several hours at a time. It's a place where extended stays aren't particularly unusual. Additionally, you have heat, internet/computer access, water fountains, bathrooms, lounge chairs, and nearly endless educating vessels surrounding you in the form of books. TL. Doctor, if you're ever homeless, go to the library. I was homeless at age 17, but lived in a shelter and not on the street. My experiences may vary from yours. Don't fucking trust anyone. The women in my shelter would befriend you and backstab you just to laugh at you when you get kicked out. Is there general prostitution in the area? Chances are some of the women in the shelter are a part of that problem. Mental illness. Mental illness everywhere. Doesn't have to be severe, but there are a lot of messed up people. Be careful who you confront, especially if you're unsure of their mental capacity. Do you own things of any value? Welp, better keep them to yourself, because some asshole will try to steal them and wrestle them. Do not fuck with people's children. Seriously. You don't know who is friends with who, and might fuck your shit up. Also don't make comments about their baby daddies, if it's very obvious they have several. Touchy subject usually. Don't steal each other's food. If you do, they will hunt you down and find you. I once saw a woman have drugs planted on her, so that she'd get kicked out once they found out she was stealing food. I recently had a crash course in what it's like to be homeless. Driving to the local supermarket, park up outside, go in and get what I needed, using all the money I had on me, and go back out to my car, and realize it won't start now, and is out of gas. Thought it'd have enough to get there and back again. Clearly I didn't. So I'm standing next to my car asking people for some spare change for gas to get back home. The amount of dirty looks, completely ignoring you, and get a job, or earn it, like I did comments from people. Now I wasn't a homeless person asking for money, just merely someone in a unlucky situation needing a little kindness and help, but I felt like I was being treated like trash and these people acted like I was scum. Never have I had more of a crash course in what it must be like to be homeless, and get that every single day. Finally someone gave me $10, so I was able to go get some petrol and get home. But damn did I think about how it must be for folks that need to do that, just to live day by day. It truly makes you thankful for what you have and appreciate it, but also shows you another side of people. People that you would see and assume, oh, that little old lady looks nice. Maybe she will help, when in reality, she calls you a bum and to get a job, and stop bothering good honest people. I was homeless not in Vegas, but close. I had a gold gym membership. It was open 24 hours, so I could shower every day, and had a place to hang out away from the heat. I tried to spread myself thin, so I wouldn't attract attention. I'm a middle-aged woman with 2 college degrees. Pretty sad what happened to me, and I didn't look the part. People could sense my being distraught at night, and that was dangerous. I spent my days at the depth of labor applying for job after job, at the university law library or computer lab in the evening, and at the gym, or in the casino at night. I wanted to kill myself. I was so appalled and upset, but I got through it. I ended up on disability. I had a nervous breakdown. I'm one step away from winding up homeless any day, but I guess I can survive it just like before. I hope this info helps someone in a fucking panic and scared like I was. Y'all are in my prayers, all of you. Homeless for 5 years here, since I was 18. Here's a few I noticed. Prison and jail culture bleeds into the homeless community. Watch your words. Words normal people get to say can have serious meanings on the streets. One example. Saying bitch to someone might get you assaulted. Watch your mouth, or you won't last long. No one's pressing charges or calling the cops if you get into a fight with someone. It's all he said she said bullshit. Everyone takes it, and conflicts resolve themselves. Everyone you're around is homeless. You gotta stay in that shelter with them every night. You'll share the same public spaces that everyone who's homeless has to. You don't have a choice. Keep to yourself. Don't mouth off. Don't fuck with anyone else, or you'll get fucked with. You cigs are everyone else's cigs. Everyone on the street smokes. If you got M, you're probably going to end up sharing them. Look out for each other, and be good to each other. We're all struggling, so let's make it as good as we can for each other. When I was homeless, we paid for each other's food, clothes, and any other essentials, if one was truly in need.